Tom Hanks. He's the human golden retriever of Hollywood. Always smiling, always wholesome, and apparently powered by decency and dad jokes. But peel back the Oscar-laced curtain and you'll find a guy who's been sainted by the internet, roasted by critics, and occasionally betrayed by his own accent choices. This isn't just the story of America's dad, it's a highlight reel of bizarre misfires, eyebrow-raising moments, and just weird behavior. Join us while we uncover everything wrong with Tom Hanks. Sorry to interrupt, but Tom Hanks subscribed before the intro ended. Be like Tom. Ah, thanks. America's dad? Yikes. Tom has been unofficially knighted as America's dad, which is adorable, until you realize we've basically turned a living, breathing human into a saintly dad bot. This label means he can never frown, burp, snap, curse, or, God forbid, be mildly annoyed in traffic. The guy could murder someone in broad daylight, and half of X would say, well, he probably had a good reason. We've reached peak parasocial parenting when people cry at his Instagram posts like he's sending them bedtime stories. But here's the thing, he plays roles for a living. He's not your father, he's an actor with flawless PR. Slap the America's Dad sticker on anyone long enough, and they'll either crack or start believing their own legend. Hanks hasn't cracked yet, but keep watching. No pressure, Tom. We're just projecting the emotional needs of 300 million people onto your face. Sketchy starts and 80s cheese. Before he was America's dad, Tom Hanks was, well, America's weird cousin. In the 80s, Hanks was grinding his way through comedy gigs like Bachelor Party and hosting SNL in a way that screamed, yes, I will absolutely wear that inflatable bodysuit if it means screen time. These early roles were full of slapstick, questionable jokes, and peak awkward energy. Basically what would happen if a dad joke and a Red Bull had a baby. Even Hanks has admitted some of that material didn't age well, which is putting it politely. Watching these today is like digging through your old Facebook post from 2007. Nostalgic, but deeply cursed. But hey, give credit where it's due. Tom did what he had to do. He didn't walk into stardom, he goofballed his way in, one fart joke at a time. If you've ever cringed through The Man with One Red Shoe, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And if not, just don't. Gump or Grump? Forrest Gump is either a cinematic treasure or a manipulative nostalgia sandwich, depending on who you ask. Sure, it made $1 bajillion and won Tom Hanks an Oscar, but scratch beneath the feel-good surface and you'll find a minefield of controversy. The movie glazes over war trauma, civil rights, and disability like their background wallpaper to Gump's box of chocolates. And let's not ignore the glaring modern critique. Should an able-bodied actor have played Forrest at all? In today's casting landscape, Hanks' performance, while heartfelt, is being reevaluated with raised eyebrows and louder voices. Critics argue the film oversimplifies serious issues while giving Gump an almost saint-like glow, all while Jenny gets vilified for existing? Hanks stands by the film, and fair enough, it was career-defining. But decades later, Forrest Gump is still sparking debates that make you wonder if we were all just emotionally manipulated by a man running in slow motion to folk music. Life is like a box of, oof, that didn't age well. Pinocchio and the Wooden Energy. Once upon a streaming disaster, Tom Hanks played Geppetto in Disney's live-action Pinocchio. And let's just say, the performance had less life than the puppet. Critics called the movie unnecessary, lifeless, and a waste of electricity. And honestly, they were being generous. Hanks, the man who made us cry with a volleyball, couldn't even make a talking puppet feel magical. His performance felt like someone reading bedtime stories at gunpoint, flat, joyless, and strangely robotic, like Geppetto had lost his will to live halfway through Act 1. Disney clearly thought slapping Hanks into a wig and tossing in some CGI would guarantee another nostalgic hit. Instead, audiences walked away feeling duped, like they'd wished upon a star and got a cursed VHS tape instead. Even Pinocchio looked more emotionally invested than Geppetto, and he was made of pixels. In the end, the only nose growing was Disney's, for pretending this would be a heartwarming classic instead of a 2-hour sleep aid. Colonel Tom's Carnival accent. If you ever wondered what it would sound like if Tom Hanks played a haunted meatball trying to sell you fake Elvis merch, congrats, you've seen Elvis. In Baz Luhrmann's maximalist fever dream, Hanks put on a fat suit and a baffling Euro-Texan walrus accent to portray Colonel Tom Parker, Elvis Presley's notoriously sketchy manager. And the results? Picture Werner Herzog doing a Foghorn Leghorn impression while slowly being possessed by a Dutch ghost. Critics pounced, calling it distracting, cartoonish, and an accent war crime. Hanks, normally the king of subtlety, went full parody mode. And not in a good way. You could practically hear audiences leaning over to each other mid-movie whispering, "Wait, is he okay?" It's one thing to take risks as an actor. It's another to sound like you're trying to order schnitzel in Texas through a snorkel. For once, Elvis wasn't the weirdest guy in the building, and that's saying something. If you made it through that movie without cringing at least 5 times, you're legally immune to embarrassment. The Too Nice Mr. Rogers. Tom Hanks playing Mr. Rogers should have been a slam dunk, right? And on paper it was. But when A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood hit theaters, a strange backlash bubbled up. Not because the performance was bad, but because it was too good, too on brand, too Hanksy. Critics argued the role lacked surprise, like casting Cookie Monster to play Big Bird. Same sweetness, different sweater. It didn't help that Hanks barely changed his vocal cadence or facial expressions, leading some to say it felt more like Tom Hanks in a red cardigan than a true transformation. It was comforting, sure, but also like ordering pancakes and realizing they taste exactly like pancakes. No syrup, no twist, just textbook breakfast. Still, he got award nods because of course he did, it's Tom Hanks. But deep down, some of us wondered if the casting choice was genius or just lazy. Either way, if you expected a deep psychological dive into Fred Rogers, what you got was warm milk in movie form. Family business? When your dad is Tom Hanks, your career starter kit includes an IMDb page and an agent on speed dial. Enter Colin and Elizabeth Hanks, 2 talented humans, sure, but also living proof that Hollywood is just one big family reunion with casting calls. Colin's had solid roles, and Elizabeth's done her thing behind the scenes, but every time they show up in a new project, the whispers start, would they even be here if their last name wasn't Hanks? It's the classic nepotism debate with a side of dad-flavored wholesomeness. Tom, ever the supportive parent, says they got where they are because they work hard. Which might be true. But let's be real. There's hard work, and then there's my dad is a living Oscar magnet, hard work. Colin seems like a good dude, but let's not pretend his entry into Hollywood was a locked door he kicked open. More like a red carpet rolled out by dad's PR team. Just saying. The Da Vinci Decay. When the Da Vinci Code first dropped, it was a global sensation. Murder, secret societies, Tom Hanks with a mop on his head solving puzzles in ancient churches. The world couldn't get enough. And then came Angels and Demons, followed by Inferno. Each one feeling a little more like someone trying to explain a conspiracy theory at 3 a.m. after 3 espressos. Hanks's Robert Langdon, originally mysterious and brainy, slowly devolved into a walking sigh with a forehead permanently stuck in mild concern mode. By Inferno, even he looked tired of deciphering riddles taped to statues. Critics slammed the trilogy's bloated plotlines, fake history, and repetitive pacing like it was Indiana Jones without the fun or whip. And Hanks, he collected the paycheck, recited the exposition, and wore the tweed like a champ, but somewhere along the way the spark dimmed. It was less thrilling global mystery, and more, Tom Hanks looks confused in Italy. Again. If only they'd crack the code to making us still care. Saving Private Ryan, Hollywood glory? Saving Private Ryan opens with a D-Day scene so intense it practically shell-shocks your popcorn. Critics called it raw, brutal, and Oscar-worthy. Others called it Call of Duty Prestige Edition. Tom Hanks delivers a solid performance as Captain John Miller, trembling hands and all. But let's talk about the elephant in the foxhole. Did the movie glorify war under the banner of realism? While Hanks stood by the film like it was the Constitution itself, some viewers questioned whether the focus on American heroism drowned out the messier truths of WW2. Like, say, the Allies weren't all flawless G.I. Joes. And sure, it was technically excellent, But was it a nuanced anti-war statement or just a slow-mo bullet ballet with Oscar bait seasoning? Hanks didn't direct, but he certainly helped sell it as gospel. So next time someone calls it the definitive World War II movie, maybe pause and ask, definitive for who? Because not every soldier got a Spielberg budget or a Tom Hanks sob scene. Oscar ego, Exhibit A. By 1998, Tom Hanks was basically the human version of a golden statue. After snagging back-to-back Oscars for Philadelphia and Forrest Gump, he'd become the Academy's favorite cardigan. So when he walked on stage to present at the 1998 ceremony and declared, "This is so simple," while opening the winner envelope, the vibe wasn't humble icon. It was more valedictorian at a kindergarten graduation. Maybe he meant it playfully, but viewers didn't love the flex. After all, most people will never sniff an Oscar. And here's Tom, breezing through the ceremony like it's a company raffle. Some saw it as lighthearted. Others saw a glimpse of the man behind the dad jokes, the one getting a little too comfy at the top. Hanks later brushed it off and apologized if it sounded cocky, which is Hollywood for, yeah, that came out weird. Just goes to show, even the nicest guys have oops moments. Or in this case, gold-plated gaffes. No crying? You sure, coach? There's no crying in baseball, Tom Hanks yells in A League of Their Own, channeling every emotionally constipated Little League coach in America. And yet, this is the same man who made millions of people cry. On planes, on couches, in theaters, across decades of film. Toy Story 3, sobbed. Castaway, bawled over a volleyball. Philadelphia, hydration gone. The irony is almost poetic. Hanks gave us a generation-defining tough love quote and then spent the rest of his career making that quote look hilariously wrong. He's basically the guy who says no dessert while serving you a triple fudge sundae. Maybe the line should have been, "There's no crying in baseball unless Tom Hanks is in the dugout." Some say it just shows his range. Others say it's a brand contradiction wrapped in khakis and good intentions. Either way, it's the kind of pop culture whiplash that makes you laugh, then cry, then wonder how the same guy who yelled at Gina Davis is also responsible for that airport scene in the terminal. Don't touch his wife. And just like that, America's Dad dropped the dad voice and went full Liam Neeson in Taken. In June 2022, Tom and Rita were mobbed by fans after dinner in NYC. And when someone stumbled into Rita, Hank spun around and barked, "Back the fuck off!" Gasps were heard across the internet. Was it justified? Absolutely. Was it jarring coming from the same guy who gave us Woody the Cowboy and Turner and Hooch? You bet. For a man who could soothe a riot with his eyebrows, the sudden shift from wholesome to heated left fans feeling like grounded teenagers. Social media exploded. Half cheered him on for protecting his queen. The other half stared at the clip like, wait, Tom Hanks knows swear words? Turns out even America's Dad has limits, especially when you treat his wife like a crash test dummy. Let this be a lesson. Never corner a beloved actor unless you're prepared for a parental scolding that ends in a TMZ video. Larry Crowne, midlife meh. Larry Crowne. The feel-good boomer fantasy you forgot existed, and for good reason. In 2011, Tom Hanks decided to write, direct, and star in a film about a laid-off everyman who reinvents himself by going back to college. Sounds wholesome, right? Until you realize it's actually just 99 minutes of how do you do, fellow students, with less charm and more forced smiles. Hanks plays Larry like he's been lobotomized by optimism, and Julia Roberts looks like she's trying to remember where she parked her career. Critics called it boring, lightweight, and a vanity project, and honestly, they were being nice. It's like watching your dad film his own TED Talk about community college. Hanks insisted it was about resilience, but it mostly played like a romantic comedy written by a tax accountant during lunch break. Even die-hard fans struggled to care. So if you're ever having trouble sleeping, throw on Larry Crowne. It won't change your life, but it might make you grateful for the existence of naps. Celebrity COVID Armageddon. Remember when the pandemic was terrifying and surreal? And then it got Tom Hanks level real. In March 2020, while in Australia, Tom and Rita tested positive for COVID and the internet collectively lost its damn mind. News outlets basically treated it like the Queen had been hit by a meteor. If Tom Hanks can catch it, we're all doomed! As if viruses paused to say, oh wait, that's Forrest Gump. Let's skip him. People suddenly decided this man's immune system was the emotional backbone of civilization. Meanwhile, conspiracy nuts started foaming at the mouth with, he's faking it theories, because apparently Hanks can't even get sick without being accused of acting. Sure, he helped raise awareness and destigmatize infection, but the global panic showed just how dangerously obsessed we are with celebrity health. Tom getting COVID was the moment the pandemic stopped being a science issue and became a Hollywood sequel we never asked for. Castaway to Viral Load. Cloud Atlas. Ah yes, Cloud Atlas. The film where Tom Hanks played no fewer than 6 characters, including a Scottish hitman, a post-apocalyptic caveman, and a Korean doctor in heavy prosthetics. Yup, in a bold move that screamed artistic ambition, but landed somewhere closer to yikes, the Wachowskis cast actors across racial and gender lines to symbolize interconnected souls across time. Unfortunately, this led to some white actors, including Hanks, sporting facial prosthetics to play Asian characters, which critics immediately slammed as modern-day yellowface. The filmmakers insisted it was about transcending identity, but to many, it looked more like an acting flex gone tone-deaf. Hanks, usually untouchable in public opinion, suddenly had people wondering if this was Cloud Atlas or Cultural Atlas of bad ideas. It's one thing to challenge norms. It's another to stroll into 2012 with a face full of latex and expect no backlash. Whether you call it brave or blind, one thing's for sure. Some roles probably should have been left in a different timeline. The Thank You Marathon? Tom Hanks doesn't just thank people. He Olympic sprints through thank yous like he's trying to break a Guinness World Record. Co-stars, catering staff, airport TSA agents, you name it, he's gushed about them in interviews, speeches, and probably in his grocery store receipts. While gratitude is great, at some point it starts to feel more like a performance than a personality trait. Hanks has turned, "I'm just honored to be here," into his personal tagline. And cynics wonder if this constant humility is less about sincerity and more about staying ahead of the next award season PR curve. After all, what's safer than being the guy who's just so grateful trademark? It's like if Ned Flanders and a publicist had a baby. Is it real? Possibly. Is it calculated? Probably. But the effect is the same. Every time Hanks opens his mouth at a podium, you know you're about to get 15 names, 4 anecdotes, and a thank you to someone's dog. It's wholesome, but also kind of exhausting. Hollywood's favorite bestie. Tom Hanks has more A-list friends than most people have socks. Spielberg, BFF, Oprah, loves him. Meg Ryan, reunited on screen like it's no big deal. He's the human LinkedIn of celebrity friendships. On the surface, this all seems charming. A guy everyone in Hollywood wants to high-five. But dig deeper, and you start to wonder, is this genuine camaraderie or just professional networking with extra lighting? Hanks is a master of the red carpet love fest, where every question turns into a compliment detour. What was it like working on this film? Well, first, let me just say Steven Spielberg is a genius, a legend, and a visionary with great hair. Cue applause. It's endearing until it becomes deflection, smoothing over awkward topics with a warm smile and a "you're the best, buddy." Even journalists know better than to push. He's too nice to challenge. Hollywood adores him, and Hanks makes sure to adore it right back. Call it kindness. Call it strategy. Either way, it works like a charm. The host that never hosted? Every year, like clockwork, the internet chants, Tom Hanks should host the Oscars. And every year, Tom Hanks does absolutely nothing about it. Rumors swirl that the Academy has begged him to take the stage, but somehow, scheduling conflicts always come up. Translation: Hanks would rather pass a kidney stone than navigate the landmine of celebrity roast, Twitter backlash, and forced musical numbers. And honestly, fair. One misfired joke and America's dad becomes the internet's ex-dad. Hosting the Oscars is like being handed a live grenade wrapped in a monologue. Maybe Hanks knows better than to touch it. Or maybe, deep down, he just doesn't want to break the illusion that he's above the Hollywood circus, even though he lives at the center of it. So for now, the dream remains a meme. and the Academy settles for backup hosts while Tom sits in the audience, applauding politely and whispering, "Thank God it's not me." Philadelphia and the Straight Savior Complex. When Philadelphia hit theaters in 1993, it was revolutionary. A big-budget film tackling AIDS, homophobia, and discrimination in a mainstream package. Tom Hanks gave a gut-wrenching performance as Andrew Beckett, earning his first Oscar and major praise. But fast forward a few decades and, surprise, Hollywood's casting choices are under the microscope. Why was a straight actor portraying a gay man in such a pivotal role? Was it because no openly gay actors could sell tickets back then? Probably. Critics now see Philadelphia as an early chapter in Hollywood's favorite trope, the straight savior trademark, where LGBTQ+ stories are told through hetero-friendly lenses to make them palatable for mainstream audiences. No shade on Hanks' acting chops, but the casting choice reflects a broader industry problem that still hasn't gone away. Sure, Hanks helped open doors, but we're still asking why the doorman didn't look like the people on the other side. Intentions? Good. Impact? Still up for debate. Behind the curtain. Tom Hanks, the man who could smile his way through a car crash and still get a standing ovation. But every now and then, the rumor mill spits out whispers that behind that wholesome veneer is a guy who's, well, human. Alleged temper flares on set, behind-the-scenes diva moments, or just general off days get inflated into full-blown personality exposés. Are they true? Who knows? Most are sourced from anonymous assistants or a friend of a friend's cousin who once walked past him at Whole Foods. Still, when you're marketed as the nicest guy alive trademark for 3 straight decades, people start digging for cracks like they're mining for Bitcoin. Could it be that Hanks occasionally gets grumpy, forgets names, or clutches pearls, snaps at interns? Probably. It's almost like being a famous millionaire doesn't make you immune to being tired. But unless someone leaks footage of him punting a kitten across a movie set, he'll probably keep his halo, at least for now. Oscar strikeout after glory days. Tom Hanks won back-to-back Oscars for Philadelphia and Forrest Gump, which is basically like hitting 2 walk-off home runs and then never getting invited to the ballpark again. Since then, nada. Despite powerhouse performances in Castaway, Captain Phillips, Bridge of Spies, and The Post, the Academy seems to have hit snooze. Some say he peaked too early. Others think the Oscars just got bored of voting for the same guy twice. It's like the universe decided, okay, you've had your turn. Let's give Jared Leto a shot now. The snubs have become so routine, it's practically tradition. Fans argue he's been robbed, while cynics whisper maybe he's just playing it too safe. Either way, we're now in a decades-long drought where Hanks keeps getting nominations and walking away with a complimentary glass of champagne and a polite, "better luck next time." Maybe try playing a villain next, Tom. Bonus points if you kick a puppy on screen. Disney's favorite dad. Tom Hanks isn't just in Disney's pocket, he is the pocket. As Woody in Toy Story, he emotionally traumatized a generation with animated abandonment issues. Then in Saving Mr. Banks, he played Walt Disney himself, which is peak synergy. America's dad playing America's most marketable man. Now he's Disney's go-to guy for safe, trustworthy icon. Which is great, unless you're wondering where edgy, experimental Hanks went to die. He could be tackling dark, gritty roles. But instead, he's making polite eye contact with talking puppets. Is he still talented? Duh. Is he also contractually obligated to never say anything more offensive than "oh shoot"? Probably. Look, being Disney's favorite actor means guaranteed paychecks, moral high ground, and eternal reruns. But it also means no scandal, no bite, and definitely no R-rated Woody monologues. Somewhere deep down, there's a version of Tom Hanks that wants to swear on camera. And Mickey Mouse is standing just off-screen, holding a cease and desist. And there you have it. For all his weird roles, dad energy moments, and accidental controversies, we still like Tom Hanks because he somehow makes being painfully wholesome actually kind of cool. What do you think of Tom Hanks? Let me know down below. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.